So in today's episode, I was joined by Tes Adamou of EEDN, a very small project management consultancy based in London, soon to be based in Cyprus, as you'll see we'll get into. There's a lot of discussion, one around kind of the use of AI, but the bit I think you find really interesting with this discussion was a really honest, genuine discussion about the stresses of running a business, how that impacted Tes's life for a while. And I think you'll get a lot out of this, because I think everybody assumes that running a business is really easy and we're all rolling around in money. It's not the case. It's hard work. And Tes was really genuine and honest about the pressures of that. And I think you'll all get a lot out of it. Okay, so I'm delighted on this episode to be joined by Tes Adamou of EEDN. Tes, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Nice
to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Me and Tes first met at MIPIM for the first time, which was great. Very rainy MIPIM. In fact, very similar to London today.
Exactly. quite rainy MIPIM for a change, right?
Yeah. Tes, can you just explain EEDN as a business, where you are now, maybe current headcount, primary sectors, you focus on primary disciplines?
So EEDN is a project management consultancy. That's all we do.
Mm-hmm.
We don't touch any of the ancillary sort of services. We don't do cost management. We don't do anything else. But anything that project management touches, we do. So we do employers agent, client representation, all the way to contract administration for JCT, NEC,
Okay.
Primarily focused in the UK and the from Midlands South primarily, but we're now in the process of opening up in Europe as well.
Oh, perfect. So, you're opening an office in Europe?
We're opening an office in Europe, yeah. So we're basically expanding the business to be able to service our European clients and go back to almost where my roots are in Cyprus and service that as well.
So the office will be in Cyprus?
The office will be based in Cyprus. Cyprus has a lot of project management opportunities coming up. It's a gorgeous ecosystem that is really waiting for support. And through Cyprus, as part of the European Union, as part of the Commonwealth, as part of the Middle East agreements that Cyprus has, will be able to then service Europe through that.
Perfect. Good. And sector focus, Tes?
Sector focus. So we started off the business as being very niche into what was a very nascent life sciences sector back in 2021 with all the hype.
Yeah. Big market.
You remember that? Big market at the time. Yeah. Gorgeous events that everybody was attending. And then, but what became very, very apparent very quickly is that although our focus was great and it was fantastic at the beginning in order to get our foot in, we actually had skills that we weren't promoting elsewhere. So we had skills in solving complex problems. We had skills in making sure that projects that had certain levels of complexity and challenges, we were able to unravel those and cut the Gordian knots to be able to just put them past the next stage and bring them into fruition. So the sectors that we focus in at the moment are those that are majorly more technically complex, such as life sciences, healthcare, GMP manufacturing. Higher education sometimes is quite complex depending on the stakeholders. Yeah. But we also delve into more traditional sectors such as residential, commercial, if it has that level of complexity. So if you ask me to build a house, I'm probably not the right person for that. If you want to land a plane on it in the middle of the ocean with sharks around it, then definitely sign me up for that.
Perfect. Amazing. And what's the headcount currently, Tes?
So we are currently 6. We're looking to grow to another couple by the end of the year, hopefully.
Okay.
We are quite a lean team from the perspective of having people that are managing a few more projects than normally anticipated for that. We use a lot of automation, a lot of technology in order to allow us to do that level of complexity. So yeah.
Good. Well, heck, that's brilliant. That jumps straight into the next question or one of the questions. So, yeah, talk to me about that one, because I think we're at an interesting evolution now where I think businesses of your size will be able to do more with less because you're using technology and automation. So what kind of products are you can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I can talk to you about what we use. It's all commercially available.
Yeah.
So we do use a lot of AI, and AI in our industry, with construction being quite back from technology adoption over the past few years. AI is here to stay, and it's here to make work easier. But it's all about how you develop and how you make sure that AI becomes a tool and not the only tool in your arsenal. So the way that we approach this is that we have technologies that's obviously, like most people have these days, where we record our meetings. We automate the minute-taking process. We automate a lot of the writing up of reports, etc. But that comes with three main pillars within the business. The first one is that AI is a tool, and it's not a substitute for critical thinking.
Yes.
AI is not there to take away from your work.
No.
Is there to make sure that it enhances it to the right level. The responsibility of anything that goes wrong lies with you, not with AI. Again, AI is a tool. It's not a substitute. And the third pillar is that we should be using AI to. It goes back to the first one, actually. We should be using AI to enhance what we're doing, not make us complacent in how we go about our job. All of that is covered into clients' data and our data protection, so nothing leaves our ecosystem. Okay. We're currently going through ISO 27001 that has to do with IT security. We're going through ISO that's the AI ISO, hopefully over the next 6 to 9 months. So we're looking at that kind of adoption of technology within the business. My main concern with AI, and because it hasn't been tested so far to the level that we wanted it to, right, is that a lot of the younger generation that's coming into construction will inevitably be relying on AI, but at the beginning they won't know how much to lean onto the tool. Yes. And how much the tool is capable of producing the result. Just because it looks good, and just because it sounds good, and just because it's written in good English doesn't mean that it's true. Correct. But without the critical thinking of how we go about that process, and how we check that result, it's I think there's a possibility that we might be looking in a couple of years' time in a gap in the skill sets of people that have overly relied on AI and those that haven't.
There's a whole piece that's come out recently, hasn't there, about I think obviously it's a headline grabbing thing. It's talking about brain rot, and they're saying that actually a lot of stuff, if you use AI to do something for you, because you've not critically thought about it yourself, it doesn't go in, basically.
Exactly. So it doesn't go in, and it's actually the next step of the evolution of when we're students, we would take notes down with by hands. We would sit down with a book, a physical, tactile thing that we would turn the pages with and make notes in. And then came tablets and screens, but reading PDFs on screens is not the same. Now, going the next step in about the composition of the material by technology, yes, I completely agree with the findings, because I find it myself in that when I compose something with AI, and we've all done that, we've all tried it.
Of course we have,
it just doesn't sink in the same way. It just simply doesn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think tremendous. So a good example there is note taking. If you're on a Teams call, that's a brilliant use of AI, because actually you can just solely focus on the individual or the individuals you're speaking to in the meeting, and you know that this piece of software or this technology is capturing the detail perfectly. And you can 100% rather than worrying about, well, did I remember to write that bit down?
Yeah.
So you're not. So that element of AI is absolutely brilliant. I think I've used it I've just signed up with a very large consultancy, and the contract they sent was insane, like 23 pages long. So it's like, right, I'm banging that straight into ChatGPT to say, right, which clauses do I need to be aware of within this document? And to be fair, I then ran through the whole document. So it was more of a testing process to see if it worked. I then ran through the whole document, and for sure, the clauses that they identified as the issues were actually the ones that are the issues, even though I've read it. So stuff like that, I think it's very, very good. But as long as it's not to the detriment of critical thinking, I think you speak to a lot of these, for want of a better phrase, the gurus or the experts in the world of AI, and they're saying, one of the biggest challenges for us is, not to let go of critical thinking, from
exactly
us, but also children, to encourage that as a skill set that you constantly challenge it.
Because as human beings, we are wired to take the easiest route down whichever path we're taking. One of the great uses of AI that we put not just in meetings, but just to give an example for project management is side-by-side comparison of programs, of program schedules. Yeah. So you receive a program from a contractor, might be 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 1,000 lines long. And you can see that there are subtle changes from one to the other, from week to week, from month to month. And we all did it. Well, we took the ruler and went down the 200 lines. But AI can really resolve and solve that issue within seconds.
Yeah.
It's not going down a program with a ruler is not a skill that makes a good project manager. So I'm completely happy with that being automated. What is important is identifying what it is and making sure that you understand the implications of why it has moved. Yeah. So other people spend time in learning those skills and holding those skills as opposed to just going down the ruler. But there are myriads of those examples in day-to-day life.
Perfect. So that's the kind of AI and your adoptions. What about just tech generally? What are you using in the business in terms of running the business day to day? What your team use day to day to manage projects or manage internal issues as well?
So our tech is we've got a view in the business that we shouldn't let technology ever be a hindrance to progress within the business, whether that's business progress or personal progress for people. Yeah. So everybody obviously has the laptop, mobile phone, etc. But from software perspective, we are Microsoft subscribers. Yeah. Inevitably, that is something that is standard in the industry. We cannot really do anything without that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We supplement that obviously with our teams, etc. And our online portals. We use a tool very heavily called Notion.
Yep.
So Notion is where we aggregate everything about the business. We use the AI machine learning behind Notion that's being kept on our side as well to train our models that has access to our SharePoints, etc. And we're building now a separate level within Notion that's called the blueprint. So that's the EEDN blueprint. That explains how we go about our work. So at the very basic level, it's literally called the blueprint. We might need to figure out a better title. At the moment, it's a working title. But with project managers, we're not creative. So for now, blueprint is absolutely fine. So the idea is that at the very bottom layer is, how do we work as a business? How do we do our project management? What is the day-to-day life of a project manager? The next level up is an overlay that defines a sector by sector. So it's things like, if I'm doing a manufacturing GMP facility, then I need to identify my validation master plan. I need to identify how I go through my IOPQs, which are industry acronyms that need to be added onto daily project management. Then on top of that, is an overlay that has to do with countries. So it's a country overlay.
Okay.
So in the UK, we do planning this way, but in Cyprus, planning is done this way. The difference are like this. The financial year in the UK runs from April to March, whereas in Cyprus runs differently. So it's what are the differences about that? And then the final overlay is a client overlay. So our client X wants all the invoices be submitted by PDF on the first Friday of the month. This client wants it on a different date. This client needs the accounts emails to be or to be like this. That client wants VAT added or without VAT when we report. So it's those client nuances. What that allows us to do is integrating our operations both horizontally and vertically.
Okay.
So we have an operational structure that allows us to take it from 0 to 100% on project management level, but it allows us to integrate vertically if our client X moves to a different country doing a different job, but we're still doing the project management for them, we can find the commonalities about exactly how to deliver their projects for that. Obviously, we have for different localities, we cooperate with different people, etc. But that allows us to actually pull that together into a cohesive approach.
And so I understand that, Tes. Is that let me get my head around this. Is that to act almost as an internal knowledge base stroke / SOP, or is there and I hear a lot about Notion, so I'm quite interested. It's something I keep wanting to look at myself as Notion. So is it more that, or is it that it would then support you going forward with, I don't know, perhaps how you might structure an initial project plan, or how you might structure an email to make sure
it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
I think no. I think I know what you're saying, which is what's the first use of this tool, and the answer to that is there's no single use of it.
Okay,
it's an internal SOP.
Yeah,
it's a confidence boost to our clients that we can go with them anywhere and for whatever project, and we understand the processes, so it goes through that. It allows us to scale. It allows us to build essentially a modular approach of our SOPs. And those SOPs, because they're split into different units, etc., when the general manager of Europe or Cyprus or whatever you want to call it puts the country plan together, there's already a process behind it about how we go about delivering project management as a business. So that's and that's the beauty of it, because you can then combine that using the AI model that then says, okay, so I need to put together a project execution plan for this project in Cyprus. What are the 20 things that I need to know about? And it should be able to ideally give you that answer. It's a forward thinking, looking. I hope, but it's something that is scalable and looking into the future.
Well, you'd like to hope, and again, what my understanding of Notion or any other similar products is that part of it is the more information you feed it, the more it gets used to your approach as a business, how you deliver things, etc., etc. Then it becomes more educated, becomes more powerful, and it can hopefully give you more. It can help your people, certainly new people, I guess.
That's exactly it.
Into the EEDN way of working, the EEDN blueprint.
Into the EEDN way of working, into the EEDN blueprint, as you said, but also because it combines the information. That's one level of what we use Notion for. We also use Notion as a wiki for our business.
Yeah.
So every project almost has its Wikipedia equivalent page within Notion. This is when we go planning. This is what we did for Reba Stage 2. This is what we did for Reba Stage 3. That's how it went. These are the people who got involved, etc. And everybody within the business can go and check on a project like that.
Yeah.
What that allows people to do is either query the model or actually go and look at the project that they're going to be working on, get a lot of good information on the project. That's the latest information available. And the reason why we decided to do that is because it was very, very obvious that we spent an awful amount of time as project managers and as business owners doing tasks that have to do with searching for the right information for the right project that is the most relevant and up to date at any given time. How many times did you scroll through emails to say to find something? Took you about 10 minutes to find the right email, and then you had to go through the thread of the email just to see which was the latest. We need to cut that. We need to cut that inefficiency in the way that we operate. And the only way that we can do that is by using technology.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. So going back to earlier question, so 6 people at the moment.
Yep.
Obviously about to, or in the process of opening up a Cyprus office. Let's say in the next 5 years, Tes, have you got in your mind what the size of the business will be overall? How many will be in London? How many will be in Cyprus?
So London will remain as our headquarters. It's where it was created, and in all honesty, it's where project management shines its best. The idea is that we're probably going to end up being, over the next 5 years, about probably double in size. The ideal scenario is that we find some more efficiencies during that process to make sure that we have a team of very, very highly skilled professionals, as opposed to a combination of project managers and project administrators, which is not what we want to be doing. So over the next 5 years, probably about a dozen in London, looking at opening a bit further to the west of the country as well.
Okay.
In the next 3 or 4 years. Cyprus probably growing to about 5 people by that point, and expanding possibly to another location within the EU. We're not in the process of expanding for the sake of expansion. The idea is that we either go with clients or we open an office where there's a lot of opportunity, wanting to be given to a good project management firm. Okay.
So I'm curious, you come back to Cyprus again. So obviously you're a Cypriot then.
Yeah.
So you've got some cultural knowledge, geographical knowledge of the island, but you think there's going to be a lot of work to come out of there as well. Is that because of you're taking your, like you say, the experience you've got in London, in probably one of the most complex construction markets in the world, and you're a Cypriot, but you also see there's work coming, and you can take advantage of all that as a combined.
It's a combination of all those factors. The first one is that we see ourselves as very, very knowledgeable in the field of project management, especially with technical and complex projects. Cyprus has seen a huge boom in its construction industry, whether it be commercial, residential, hotels. But we're also seeing a lot more complex construction coming along. The new technological university campus in Cyprus, the new states laboratories that are coming up. All of these are tenders that are coming out that need project management. Because of the change of that complexity and because of the lack of project management as a full industry in Cyprus itself, we see that as an opportunity. Yes, the knowledge of Cyprus and how Cyprus operates that I have is obviously invaluable when you go to a new locality. But there's also elements in the environment that in the horizon that are telling me that this is not just a blip in an upward trajectory, but there is indeed an upward trajectory. So things like Cyprus joining the Schengen Union, meaning that, and when a country joins Schengen, for example, look at Croatia. When it joined Schengen, there was about 20-30% increase in just tourism alone. That by itself means the amount of hotels, the amount of infrastructure, the amount of electricity, the amount of public works, the amount of road works, the amount of support services, the coffee shops, all of these elements mean for a country that's reliant on tourism are absolutely essential. So if you're looking at something with a precedent that increases these requirements by, even if we don't call it 30, even if we call it 15, 20%, that's a huge increase.
A lot of construction.
So yeah, so we're looking at a lot of construction. Plus, we are a company we really do care about the environment. We care about sustainability, and we're not just saying this just because it's the right thing to say, but we actually do believe in this. And Cyprus has a very unique opportunity to be a very, very sustainable country from a construction perspective. And we're looking at providing the project management infrastructure to do that.
Amazing. Good. And that will be great for you personally in terms of...
Great for... Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
in terms of taking some pride in being part of supporting the country to grow further.
100%. So having spoken to the technical chambers, for example, in Cyprus, DEC, they have confirmed exactly what my thoughts were about the need for something like that to happen. And it's great to see that Cyprus as an economy has lagged a bit behind over the past few years, especially after the 2008 financial crisis. The world financial crisis hit Cyprus a bit later on. But what we're starting to see is that Cyprus is leapfrogging. So it's skipping a technology that it just didn't absorb. It didn't have. And it's literally just going into the latest technology that's available. If you speak to the mayor of Nicosia, for example, Charalambos Pruntos, he is extremely forward-thinking in terms of the kinds of projects that he wants Nicosia to have. A fully digital city, the 3D blueprint of the city being available for everybody, smart roads. So these are kind of projects that you can only do when you don't have the amount of infrastructure that you have in London to worry about.
With you, yeah, exactly, yeah. That's similar to a lot of stuff that's gone on in the Gulf region for the same reason. They can
correct.
Get on with building it.
yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Okay. And I presume, I guess one of the attractions for people you employ is that they can work in both, or they have the opportunity to, if they want to, go spend some time in Cyprus or vice versa, for that matter.
Definitely. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of that attraction. In reality, we are expecting that a lot of our people will be going sort of back and forth, at least at the beginning, whilst the company is being set up, etc. But and we would embrace that. But I would say that what attracts people to our business, even before our plans for Cyprus were public, it's the approach of it's a forward-thinking approach in terms of how we behave with the people that work with us, into how we behave as a business. My mantra is that I employ adults, and as a result, I'm not paying for somebody's 9 till 5. In a way, I'm paying for somebody's ability to deliver a project, which means that if your son has a football match on a Thursday afternoon, by all means, please go. Don't even ask me if you can have the time off. I couldn't care. Well, I could care in the sense that I would love you and your son to have a good time and for the football match. But this is not what I'm tracking. I'm not tracking the hours. What we are tracking is how engaged people are into what they do on a day-to-day and the delivery of it. And I think that shows into how they behave with our clients as well, in that there is a level of care. There is a case that if something goes wrong on a project, because things do go wrong on a project, no matter how good a PM you might be.
Sure.
That they are there to support it, because they know that they have the freedom to be themselves throughout their work.
Amazing, good. In terms of, I guess, in terms of how you perceive, well, you'll stay purely in the PM world. You'll stay purely in those kind of complex sectors. That obviously bleeds into things like the data center market. Is that an area that you're any interest in going into? Difficult market to get into, but it's interesting where the world is going. That market can only get bigger, I guess.
It can only get bigger, and it's full of opportunity as well. Yeah. So it's absolutely remarkable how many data centers are being put every day. Absolutely. The amount of power that they take, the amount of infrastructure that they require. But on top of that, things like how much wasted heat, for example, they have. I was talking to a friend of mine from an MEP consultancy a few weeks ago, and he was working on one of Meta's new data centers, whereby with the heat that the data center is generating, they're able to provide free hot water for an entire town right next to the data center, for the entire town.
Yeah.
So this is something that really interests us as project managers. Yes, data centers are complex by nature, but the added complexity of what can we do to make them more efficient, more sustainable, more forward-looking. How do we employ these technologies? This really excites us, actually.
Good.
And it's only going upwards from here. Data centers are changing from CPUs to GPUs. Somebody has to make those changes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that you get the sense there's a bit of a lull in the industry at the moment, because they've suddenly realised that, and in very layman's terms, an AI data center is a heck of a lot more complicated than a traditional data center.
Yeah.
So the change there is going to be significant, bigger projects, bigger design issue, or bigger design challenges, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. It is, and we just don't know where the world is going to be led from that perspective. I would say about 5 to 7 years ago, data centers were almost becoming a mature market, in that we knew where it was going. There was everybody understood how they behave, how to put them together, and what the risks were, etc. And then all of a sudden, almost overnight, ChatGPT and Gemini and whatever other AI models are out there came and literally flipped the markets of data center projects on its head overnight. Because from CPUs they went to GPUs, and it went from having a stable environment to let's build as many as we can as quickly as we can.
Yeah. It's going to be a fascinating market. I think I heard something that Sam Altman of OpenAI was interviewed around, and I don't know how they got into the conversation, but he was saying don't say thank you to ChatGPT, because apparently globally the amount of energy it causes when ChatGPT has to come back and say, oh, thank you, no problem. It like blows up the things even more. It's crazy to think. And
that would be a very interesting statistics to have. How many houses can you power with the amount of thank yous to ChatGPT per day?
It's crazy. It's like when they had that thing where everyone was producing their own models of themselves.
Oh yeah,
the image, and apparently that just sent the data centers crazy.
It does, and the models are just getting more and more complex and more interesting.
Yeah. Good. Right, let's go backwards now.
Mm-hmm.
How did you become a project manager? How did you end up in London? What's the story of Tes?
So it was a wet Friday of 2007,
right,
in September, when I landed in London to study.
Okay.
Here. So I came here to study at Imperial College. I have an M.Eng in civil and environmental engineering from Imperial. And then following which I started working for Langerook,
Okay. Yeah.
a contractor
Mm-hmm.
for one of their biggest projects at the time, the London Gateway Port.
Okay.
So I was behind a theodolite, a total station, just having a look and measuring the angles and the locations of everything. But then moved from there as a site engineer to a section engineer, and then moved from there. Weirdly, I think that the business understood very quickly that I was better in business and not as good as they had hoped in engineering.
That's right. Okay.
So they moved me from that to a role within Select Plant Hire, which is a subsidiary of Langerook Group that does all the plants, to do sales and marketing projects for them. So that was my title, sales and marketing projects manager. I then became an executive assistant to the board, which was a fantastic role. I learned so much. It was basically a very unique opportunity with another 3 people within the whole business that they identified that should be taught on how to do things.
Almost like an MBA on steroids.
It literally was, because we were representing some of the board members in board meetings, preparing board reports for them, doing the research, doing the analysis. So it was fantastic. And then at the same time, I did another master's in construction law and dispute resolution.
Okay.
And then the combination of all of that basically led me to understand that contracting wasn't for me, wasn't what I wanted to do. So I parted ways with Langerook in fantastic terms, because I owed them a lot from my early career, and went to EC Harris, that later on became Arcadis, working for the higher education team there. And in that was March 2015, and in 2017 I moved again to a small consultancy called 3PM. From 3PM, I then in 2020 decided that it was time for me to do something on my own, because I've got this bug. It's a family bug, unfortunately or fortunately, that we have quite an entrepreneurial approach to life. So I set up EEDN basically and started trading in 2021.
Perfect. So at what point did you know you were going to set up your own business?
That's a good question. There wasn't a point. It was very gradual, and it was either it was happening throughout my career and throughout my life. I studied engineering, which gave me the technical skills, but in that I enjoyed a lot more managing the team and the deliverables and actually doing the engineering itself. When I went to work for Langerook, I enjoyed a lot more about resolving the complexities of how we go about the project, rather than resolving the engineering problems that it had. So it was more about, I was playing to my strengths throughout my life. So there wasn't a cutoff point where I said, yes, project management is for me. It was more about, it seems that I'm moving away from everything else to project management. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But obviously you then joined EC Harris, you then went to 3PM, a great business. At what point in your journey at 3PM did you realize, I want to set up my own business?
Right. So that, I think that came as a result. It was mostly during COVID, I would say.
Okay.
COVID has taught me a lot in that, first of all, it allowed me to save some money.
Yeah.
I was prepared that if EEDN didn't work on day one, I have no issues with going to get a barista job or a cleaner job somewhere just to make it work. I have absolutely no problem with that. But having a couple of months of mortgage saved, it's always a good start. So through COVID, I was toying with the idea. It started off as a willingness to make the operations better in my previous company. And I found myself essentially writing operations for my own business. So at some point, just flipped, and my head flipped into, it seems that we're going down this way. And I had a call with a friend of mine, Paul, that I met at King's when we did our masters in construction law, and he was up for it as well.
Right.
So we combined forces, and there we are.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize that. So you had a co-founder.
Yeah. So Paul,
have a co-founder. Yeah.
Paul is fantastic. He comes from a QS background, even though we don't offer QS services. But it basically means that he carries out all the financial director responsibilities of the business.
And how else do you split your role between what functions do you look after versus what Paul looks after?
So I take a more day-to-day operations role, so more of a chief exec role. Paul is currently looking at the financials and commercial elements of the business. He's not a PM, so he's not on the delivery side either. But what he does really well is being able to get EEDN in front of certain people, potential clients. Okay. So he has this unique ability to combine the dots and combine the people around the UK very well.
Amazing. Good. Okay, perfect. And where did the name come from?
Good question. So, do you want the official story or the unofficial story?
Oh,
it's all right.
Unofficial, definitely.
Right. Well, I've said this on a podcast, so I can't really just turn around and say, "Yeah, I'm just gonna give you the official one." So the official story goes like, basically, it stands for enabling environments, delivering nature.
Okay.
That is absolutely 100% wrong. That is not how it came about. That is not how we planned it at all. Essentially, we were sat in Paul's house in the living room, knowing that we wanted to put a business together. Went on to company's house. What shall we call it? I don't know. What shall we call it, Paul? Stood there for about 10, 15 minutes. His wife comes in, and she goes like, well, just name it something that would resonate with people, but like make it sound and look cool. Like, I don't know, like EEDN or something. Just spell it differently. We're like, you know what? That actually sounds good.
Brilliant.
So we literally just took that idea, checked it on company's house. Is his name taken? It wasn't taken. All right, let's register it now.
Amazing.
And then we spent the good part of about 2 years trying to say, well, what does EEDN mean? And a lot of people say it as EEDN, which I completely understand. We didn't see it at the time. It's quite nice. It breaks the ice when they want to hear about the sort of what it stands for. But the answer is that it doesn't really stand for anything. But in like any project manager, we're plausibility magicians. You ask us to put something together, we'll just find something that fits.
Brilliant, excellent. And so you've been going just over 4 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say are some of the perhaps mistakes you've made or lessons you've learned over that period of being a business owner and business, running a business?
Loads, a lot of them. Mistake number I can list loads. So many. Mistake number one is that just because you can work with somebody on a project, or just because you can go out for beers with a friend, doesn't mean that you can work together on the same business, or that the dynamic of a business relationship can work directly without any issues. Yeah, and this is not a this is nothing to anyone in particular. It's just that what you were expecting as a relationship when you start to what the relationship ends up being when you have a business are two complete different things.
Sure.
The second thing is that you need to grow a very thick skin very, very quickly. Losing projects when you work for somebody else is a nightmare, but it's not the end of the world. But when those projects are what is keeping the company alive, and even worse, when you have employees, what is allowing them to put food on the table, then you worry about things twice.
Of course you do, yeah.
So you need to grow a thick skin into having the belief that, you know what, if we're doing the right thing, we think we're doing the right thing anyway. It seems so. If we keep on doing that, we will be successful inevitably as a result of at least, even if we just keep to this level and never grow. We will be able to sustain ourselves. Obviously, that's not the plan. So, but you need to have a thick skin. Projects fall through.
I do, yeah.
The planning in this country is abhorrent. So what you initially anticipate as projects progressing might take an extra year or two before they can even get going. And then the third thing is cash is king. And you learn that from books and podcasts and other people saying that. But when it comes to the bank balance at the end of the month and you see it's almost falling below zero sometimes, and I'm not going to pretend here that we've only had an upward growth. No company has that. And if a company has that, then my hat's out to them. I'd love to hear their story. But unless you go through those processes, you haven't really chewed the cud of business development. But coming back to my point is that when you see the bank balance almost falling below zero, sometimes in the month, then you really understand that you need to preserve that capital. So
you realize, until you're a small business owner, you don't realize the importance of these two words, debtor days.
Correct. Absolutely. Debtor days. And nobody teaches you the importance of these things. It's a figure that you report on a spreadsheet when you're in but when you actually sat there in the boardroom trying to make a decision of, we've got projects coming up. Are we recruiting now? Should we wait to recruit? Those are big decisions for a business. And I would say those are my top three lessons. Make sure that you know who you're entering into business with, whether those are business partners or employees as well. Make sure that you understand the importance of cash flow, essentially. And I forgot what my middle one was, but yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I'm just blanked as well now. Look, thick skin, having a thick skin.
Having a thick skin, absolutely. You need to grow that. What really helped me with thick skin is actually having somebody else to talk to. So my partner is although not in business, but is very good at understanding what I go through. As a matter of fact, it almost took a toll on our relationship at some point. And again, I'm open about these things because I think it's super important for people to realize that running a business takes a toll, and you need to have a partner that is receptive to how you're going to be. And but yeah, therapy solved all of that. We're all good now. But yeah, it's a fantastic. It was a big stress on our relationship for some time until we learned how to handle that.
Like anything, people romanticize things, don't they? And they romanticize running a business. They all think that we're I don't know, we're all going home and jumping in a bath full of money or something.
Yeah.
and we're all living this amazing lifestyle. When in reality, running a business is often is incredibly stressful. You've got a lot of things to manage, as well as just doing the day-to-day delivery for clients, all the other bits about running a business. And sometimes that stress, I think sometimes, I guess potentially sometimes what employees don't realise, or some employees don't realise, I think the golden ones do get it, but don't realise sometimes they can leave, but you've still got all that stress that you try and keep away from them, but you still carry all that stress all day and day out, and sometimes it's difficult for you to leave the office, come home, and kind of switch.
And dissociates.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
It's like your baby, isn't it? It's like
it is.
It's like having another person in a relationship, because it's like another.
Absolutely.
It's as important to you. It's the thing that drives you and you're very passionate about. And I often say, Tes, it's like this. Best way ever describes me is you've got 4 buckets. One of them maybe is the business or work. The other one is your personal health.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is your relationships, friends, family, everything else. I've lost one of the buckets now. Or maybe friends and then family are separate. And invariably, depending on where you are in life, they won't all be equally full of water. They'll vary. One will lose water whilst the other one takes up all the water, and it's trying to get that balance.
Yeah, and actually on top of that is that there's no equilibrium that is this for these buckets, as you call them, that remains the same throughout your life. There will be points in your life where business will be more important, points in your life where something, touch wood, happens to family, then family becomes more important. Points in your life where friends are more important because you need that level of support. And I guess one of my lessons from the business world is that, or running the business world, is that however many buckets you have, the stretch comes out of the fact that no matter what happens, you cannot let the business bucket, if you really care about your business, you can't let the business buckets empty at all.
Yeah, absolutely. But then even more underpinning all of that, which again, a lot of entrepreneurs don't realise, is actually, in fact, probably there's a danger that probably the most important bucket is your personal health, because both physical and mental.
Yeah.
Because if that gets too much, then actually everything collapses, including the business. Everything collapses,
and it does.
You can't help anything if you're mental and physical.
And it does. And I saw that a few years ago when we were going through a bit of a tough time within the business, and as a result, I was spending a lot of time in the office, not eating well, not exercising, probably doing about 16 hours a day for prolonged periods of time, including weekends, etc. Not going to the gym. So all of a sudden, my sleep at night was compromised.
Yeah.
So all of these factors together meant that, then, because my sleep was compromised, I couldn't really concentrate the following day. So I needed some extra time to do what I needed to do, and I was not as creative. So all of these elements really combined, and I found again one of my passions that I had before, which is hiking. So I now find that whenever I'm super stressed at work, I'll turn off my my phone. I have a smartwatch that people can check my location, check that I'm okay, and put a tent and a backpack and go for about 2 or 3 nights somewhere. I don't know where. Sometimes I just wake up in the morning on a Wednesday morning and go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, come back on a Sunday, something like that. But wild camp, just myself in nature. And I think it's that grounding. A lot of people do that with camping. Others do it with with other sports. Skiing is my other one. But you need that. You once you identify that you're over emptying all of your buckets, then you need to do something that is going to fill at least one of them, so you can have something to grab from.
Just a reset.
Just to reset.
Yeah. Now, one of my I've always so very quickly, because this is not about me, this is about but very quickly, my first business did very well until so I set up my first business at 24.
Oh, wow.
We did really well until 2008 hit.
Mm-hmm.
We were a business that at the time, we'd just gone through 2007, which was still an amazing year we still always serve the construction industry. 2007 was an amazing year, and we were just very naive business owners. We just thought it was just going to go up and up and up and up. And of course, 2008 had a very different idea.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very tough period for me. And on the 4th of November, I lost my dad to cancer. On the 15th of December, I had to tell my staff my remaining, so I couldn't pay them for Christmas because I was having to liquidate the business.
Of course.
So it took a lot of massive mental toll on me. I set up Pegasus, and that started kind of I set it up, incorporated in January, didn't actually really get going until June 2009. Wasn't a lot of work out there. Shout out to one of still my biggest client today, Turner and Townsend. They literally kept the lights on for me by giving me some work. I'll always be forever grateful to them. But it scarred me in terms of running a business. So for a long time, we didn't really grow Pegasus. And I've always been obsessed with having money in the bank. And so we've got a lot of money in the bank, and I live a very frugal life. I love being in the mountains too. But the one thing I do love is walking and climbing. But the one extravagance I eventually made last year, which everyone's like, just spend some money, you idiot. Because I started spending money. So I bought a VW California.
Oh, lovely.
What
colour?
It's a charcoal grey colour.
Nice.
And honestly, I love it because similar kind of thing. But it's just I'm ready to go all the time. Whereas you have to throw everything in the
yeah.
I just literally go. It's already in the van constantly.
That's amazing.
And I'm very lucky to live in Leeds. I'm only 2 hours from the Lake District, which is my favourite place.
You're in literally the best part of the UK, in my opinion, to be going for. Yeah.
Similar kind of thing. When sometimes it's like, you know what, I just need to get away, get up to the lakes.
Do you go often?
Yeah, as often as I can. As I can. Yeah, obviously.
Maybe I'll see you there one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to coordinate at the same time. That'd be amazing.
If you see a weirdo with his backpack on and if I see a weirdo with a VW California, then I'll shout out for sure.
Yeah, but no, you sometimes have to, because sometimes running a business, and that's what hopefully I want this podcast to be about, is having the real story. I think a lot of people will say have a very romanticized idea about running a business, but it's actually bloody hard work.
It is. Don't get me wrong, it gives you a lot. And it gives you a lot of pride. It gives you a lot of... it fills your heart in a different way than just delivering things. But it's not necessarily for everybody. And it's important to realize that it's not for everybody in the same way that's, I don't know, dentistry is not for everybody. And you're absolutely right. We over romanticize that primarily because of the Zuckerbergs and the Musks of the world. So we see the success stories a lot more than the failure stories, because the failure stories don't sell.
And it's not only the Musk of this world. I think it's also that social media. There's a lot of like snake oil salesmen out there trying to peddle that everybody can get rich, and that everybody almost is entitled to be an entrepreneur, and that a lot of the bullshit that exists here. You've got a little passion, you can start that, you can create a side hustle, and then you'll be a millionaire in a year's time. And and I worry actually for a lot of young people who have fallen into this trap and been sold the dream that they can do it, and not only that they can do it, but that it's really easy.
Yes.
Neither of which is true.
One of the things that doesn't get said often enough, I think, is that when you run a business, you can run a business one of two ways. You can either run a business as a almost like a solo business owner. So the purpose of the business is to get you work. And yes, you can have people working for you, but that is the whole purpose of that, is to enable you to get to
a lifestyle business.
A lifestyle business, essentially. Or you can run a business with the purpose of growing the business. And they're two completely 100%. Different mentalities. There's nothing to say that one is better or one is correct. But
you need to know which.
But you need to know which one you want.
Yeah.
Because you cannot have both.
Yeah.
So you cannot. If you want to grow a business, you're investing pretty much all of the profits of the business back into the business itself. That's how you grow a business. If you're in a lifestyle business, by all means, take the profits and go do whatever you want to do. But those are two completely different approaches
too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think people don't touch on that often enough.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. No, we're on the same page there. Tes, this has been fantastic, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this. There's, you've been really honest, so thank you for that. The question I always finish with is, who in your career, and it doesn't have to be one person, but who in your career has been your best boss or best mentor?
That's tough. I think I've had quite a few people that took care of me along the way. The one that I resonated with most is Patrick Watson of 3PM. Patrick took me by the hand, figuratively and almost literally, I think, and guided me from being a delivery project manager to thinking more strategically into that. So I'm forever grateful to Patrick, 100%. I owe Patrick a lot.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah,
he is a great guy.
Yeah. Tes, we're done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, it really has, and just thank you for being so honest. As I say, I do think, I hope each episode there's something people will get out of each episode, and we've had a real frank discussion there about the realities of running a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I wish the podcast and yourself the best of luck. I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be banging. So yeah,
let's hope so. Perfect.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.